Hey, Reg here, and we're going to do this stripped down. So, a lot's been going on with me here in Brooklyn as I am preparing to leave the city and head to Detroit for what I've been telling most people is a year, but to be honest, I really don't have a clear plan. What I do know is I've quit my jobs, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing for an income. My hope is that the project that I'm starting in Detroit will be somewhat self-sustaining, but at this point, I don't really know. I don't want to present the idea that things are absolutely dire and that I'm completely going into this blindly. I do have a couple of projects in mind. One of them is going to be with Ghana Think Tank, and there's a group of students, 10 students are going to be coming and hanging out at AltSpace, which I've talked to you all about in previous videos. But for the most part, this is a bit of an experiment on what it means to try to live sustainably when you don't have a trust fund to fall back on. I got some pretty interesting questions, many of them as a response to my last video on being a queer, vegan, African mess. One of the most resonating questions came from KiwiBanana, so I think it's time for a Q&A. Something else, recently I stumbled upon the channel of Jazzy J, who is not a vegan, who in fact posted a video on being a conscious meat eater, and I have to say it was one of the most powerful videos for vegan advocacy that I've seen, because it really talked about how once you begin to become critical of eating meat, even the act of eating meat, once you begin to become critical of that, one starts to realize that it's not even as pleasurable as it's chalked up to be. It's really about how things are flavored, and meat is not that easy to flavor. There are some out there who probably are just into the sensation of chewing meat, but based on this video, you really can begin to see where there's a disconnect between what is happening in the act of eating meat and what is the ideology that goes behind the act of eating meat. Something else I'm realizing is I likely will be changing the format. We may see the end of Food for Thought, and what I might be presenting moving forward is more of a documentary of my exploits in Detroit, specifically because I'll be doing something that I've never done before, and I think it's going to be really important to document that and to also share as much of that experience with you. So it may be that I stop presenting videos in the format that I've been using for Food for Thought, and you might just be getting more of me doing stuff in Detroit. So I hope that that is something that you'll find enjoyable. I'll definitely find it enjoyable to share that experience with you. Just looking at things that have been developing recently on YouTube, I found myself in some ways disappointed by what I've been realizing about YouTube, but also just getting some peace around it. I'm realizing that this is entertainment. This is media. And what that means is we have to deal with the same things we deal with in all kinds of entertainment and media. And although YouTube can be a great tool to be used in all kinds of social justice advocacy, it can't be everything. And it certainly can't be everything for everyone. And it's become perfectly clear just over the past 2 weeks when we've seen the vegan movement, as it's touted on YouTube, and the people that we see touted as vegan leadership completely halted for the sake of some personal nonsense. And if that is what we want to consider our vegan movement, we'd have to consider it something very fragile. So I refuse to look at that as the vegan movement. I see that as entertainment. It's no different than what's happening with, say, Nicki Minaj or any other celebrity, any other personality. Those exploits are being driven by those individuals and the agencies, the organizations that back those individuals needing to make money. It's capitalism, right? And so it becomes very clear, and there's hypocrisy there as well, because just in recent months we've seen other individuals trying to fold into the vegan message some other issues, specifically people like check your activism, check your activism, talking about how racism is present even in the vegan movement and how quickly that voice was shut down. That person was not important enough to have their voice heard. But whether or not one vegan YouTuber wants to punch another vegan YouTuber was cause to, again, bring things to a standstill. So that should tell us a lot about ourselves. Something else that I just noticed recently, Gary Yourofsky, who is a very controversial person, somebody that I don't necessarily embrace in terms of their ideology about how activism should be done, is seen as someone, I imagine, very important in terms of the world of vegan activism. But on YouTube, Gary Yourofsky has 1/10 of the subscribers of Freely. So, again, that should tell us where we're putting our energy, what we're raising up, whose voices are being raised up. I have been extremely fortunate, and I have a strong sense that the individuals who are gravitating towards this channel are really special, really loving, deeply thoughtful, deeply spiritual, extremely creative, and I've gotten so much value from having those individuals sharing their comments and offering their support over the past, I want to say, 6 months since this channel has really started to take shape, and as I've started to really have the courage to put my voice out in the world. And so I am someone who is very, very fortunate, and I can't complain at all. And what else is happening in the vegan movement or on YouTube, I really can't say that it has affected me at all. So for that, I'm extremely grateful. What the future holds, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said before, look for a Q&A video from me. Thanks again to KiwiBanana for asking the question that broke the camel's back. That's it for this video. Like it, share it, subscribe. This is Reg signing off. Love yourself. Peace.